Pyrocynical was a YouTuber I had great respect for. It is no doubt that a lot of my content is inspired by him, and it would be blatantly lying to deny that. Maybe that's because of my love of epic gaming and forced memes, but it's certain to say that me and Pyro have a very similar video format. That being said, I think there is a huge responsibility that lies on YouTubers to hold other creators to account when they make big mistakes, and Pyrocynical has not only made an error in judgment, but has permanently damaged his reputation. So sit back and relax as we dive headfirst into Pyrocynical's grooming allegations.
Oh god. Why when people make an apology, they just can't take responsibility for themselves? Why can't they say, I messed up?
But wait, aren't we missing something?
Pyrocynical, at age 19, was messaging a 15-year-old boy and using him as an opportunity for gratification. He knew his age at the time, and after the fact, he lied about it in a terrible Reddit.
You're still in one piece! Player's gone to Tojo's got a defensive line dug in just beyond the tree line!
Unlike many videos where people were accusing Pyrocynical of grooming a child, or even more so being a the angle I was originally taking was about the lack of responsibility Pyrocynical took in his Reddit response. For context, on the 29th of October, a Twitter user known as Ivory Rasmus came out with a Twitter thread expressing their experience with Pyrocynical and stated that he was in fact groomed by him. In his thread, he explained how Pyro would send not safe for work and fetishy YouTube videos whilst Ivory was 15 years of age. And obviously, originally this thread was met with a lot of opposition and concern due to Ivory's negligence to follow up with any sort of proof for his claims until several hours had passed. Later, when Ivory had actually decided to post any form of supposed evidence, he posted screenshots of the messages he had with Pyrocynical, with him also scrolling through his chat logs. These were immediately challenged again, as all the screenshots provided were under the guise of a deleted user, and with Ivory's diminishing involvement within the commentary community over the past few years, the links between him and Pyro would not have been as public as it once was, so being relatively cautious was understandable from people. After this, a video was released, verifying that the deleted user that Ivory had conversations with was indeed Pyrocynical. He used a screenshot from a bot in Pyrocynical's old Discord server, which displayed the relevant information about the owner of the Discord. When submitting Pyro's user ID into a Discord ID resolver, some fucking Keemstar shit, it returned the same account in which Ivory was claiming was Pyrocynical, therefore proving that the DMs Ivory shared were real. But if you feel like this evidence wasn't substantial enough, Pyrocynical himself came out with a Reddit thread detailing his own experience in response to everything that had been laid out at the time. In this post, he admits that he conducted in sexual roleplays with Ivory and didn't deny the legitimacy of the screenshots. To make this clear, he only confirmed the validity of the screenshots, not the slanderous paedophile allegations behind them. Pyro also addressed the speculation that he knew about Ivory's age, explained that the individual had never disclosed that he was 15 when they exchanged, and that Ivory didn't include his age in his Twitter bio until he was 16, but as Pyro was suspended on Twitter during the 28th of December 2016 until the 29th of June 2017, he was unable to see that. In the original Google Doc created by Turkey Tom, a YouTuber who has been the spearhead for these allegations, he stated that Pyro would have known that Ivory was 15 due to tweets Ivory had made. This is a very weak point in my opinion, since Pyro had stated in his response that he was suspended on Twitter at the time. Out of the 8 tweets made by Ivory about him being 15, only one of them Pyrocynical would have seen. Not to mention, a lot of the time you barely see tweets from people you follow due to how convoluted the Twitter timeline can be. All them fucking gimmick accounts.
Enough about me.
To use this as a point to prove Pyro knowing Ivory's age would have been incredibly weak, as it's off the assumption that Pyro had an alt account and followed Ivory on it, then also the likelihood of him seeing the tweet. However, in Pyrocynical's original Reddit response, he says he never once disclosed the fact that he was 15 at the time these exchanges commenced. Throughout the chat logs, there is no mention of Ivory being 15, making this statement true, but it was interpreted by the rest of the community as Pyro knowing Ivory's age. Maybe that's down to the commentary community's tunnel vision in trying to paint another person as a sexual predator, or Pyro's lack of clarification, or a bit of both. But on the 7th of May 2017, Ivory sent Pyrocynical a link to a Twitter account which was embedded in Discord. As you can see, it clearly states that Ivory was 16 years of age, therefore showing that Pyro knows Ivory, at this point, to be 16 years of age. For context, the age of consent in the UK is 16. And the age of consent in Ivory's state is 16, which means at this point both parties are in their own right to meet up and do something. You could question this morally due to Pyrocynical being older by 4 years, but from the DMs, I can only interpret that this is fantasy roleplay and nothing else leading to it. However, this isn't enough for the commentary community, as a screenshot speculating that Pyrocynical wanted to meet up with Ivory to have very, very gay sex started circulating.
Do you think I could come earlier than that? All the flight prices increased by $200+.
right before the 14th. Yeah, I don't know except for sneaking in or making a fake ID, because I think I kind of look of that age, ooh. Ah, damn, Daniel, that sucks. Also, I just realized I don't even have a passport, so it's generally impossible from what I know.
Due to Pyrocynical having messages deleted, which we'll get onto later, people interpreted this as Pyro paying for Ivory to come and have sex with him. Despite what people might be saying about this conversation was actually about Pyro and Ivory talking about the UK's biggest gaming festival, Insomnia. The dates don't lie, and it's fucking shit. Pyro, in his response on YouTube, claimed that this was an invitation Pyro had made to a few friends to come to the UK to some event. To back this up, Sive Morton also confirmed that he was invited to the event and clarified that nothing sexual was going to come of this. Why have I got an entire fucking paragraph on Sive Morton being so fat? Like, why is this in here? Just get it gone. Wait, did I just break the fourth wall in a paedophile allegation video? But before Pyro could even respond, people had already made their minds up about this screenshot. Old fat man YouTuber, you might remember him.
Lieutenant Cobra, your whole fucking family are utter garbage and trash. I bet you're fucking white trash. I bet you're scraping the bottom of the barrel if you're not on fucking welfare. Drop fucking dead, kid. There you go.
Made an entire video saying this.
See, what you can't seem to figure out, because I don't think you're very bright, is that most people find it disgusting, whether it's legal or not, whether he was in a not safe for worker server or not, and even if he lied, which can't be proven, a 20-year-old guy flying a 16-year-old boy out to fuck him in England. Whether that's 100% legal in both states. I can't just sit there and go, being the father of two, oh yeah, it's totally okay.
Remember, this is the same guy who interviewed Ivory, where Ivory never said anything about Pyro trying to get him to England so they could have gay sex. So with the evidence provided, it is mad that Tommy C could make such an insane claim, especially due to the lack of context of that message. Not only that, 2 months later, on September 18th in 2017, Ivory confided within Pyro's DMs about how he was role-playing with another user, Jonasful, and how Jonas was sharing this information to other people. In this dialogue, Ivory states that he is a minor, in which there is no evidence showing that Pyro responded to this, most likely due to his messages being deleted. Many people interpreted this as Pyro ignoring the fact that Ivory was a minor. I fully agree that when a conversation in a sexual manner takes place, you must make sure you know the age of the person you're speaking with, but in this case, Ivory tells Pyrocynical he's a minor months after a Twitter link was sent confirming Ivory to be 16. This makes it rational for Pyro not to ask Ivory's age at this point, since he knows he's 16. To put this in perspective, it is the equivalent of me telling someone my age, 17, and then months later me stating that I'm a minor. There would be no need to ask my age again, since they know I'm already 17, making this entire screenshot pointless. Had this message been sent prior to the message stating that Ivory was 16, you would have an argument as to why does Pyro not ask how old Ivory is, but since this is after, it's irrelevant. But there is one more key figure in this saga. Pyrocynical's current girlfriend, Ida, and also like Pyro, her DMs with Ivory show as a conversation between a deleted user. This can easily be validated as real, as she posted pictures of her and Pyro in a room, which was the exact same photo Ida had taken on Instagram. If the picture is reversed image searched on Google, it returns no results, making it very unlikely that this photo wasn't posted by Ida. In the DMs, Ivory talks about the possibility of him and Pyrocynical starting a relationship together, and gives evidence suggesting that him and Pyro's conversations are becoming more real and sexual. This leads Ivory to ask whether Pyro would regret having feelings for him due to his age, because it'll be the 15-year-old French girl scenario, but with a 15-year-old American boy. At this point, you'd expect Ida to be mortified knowing that Pyro, aged 19 at the time, had been messaging sexually with a 15-year-old, but instead she simply ignores the fact and doubts the idea that Pyro would ever be in a bi relationship. It is truly mind-boggling that this woman would read over that a 15-year-old and 19-year-old have been sexually messaging. The only explanation for a lack of response to this would be if Ida had already known Ivory's age and thought what was going on was acceptable. You'd be quick to assume that from this, Ida would have just told Pyrocynical about this private conversation between her and Ivory, but judging off the response Ida gave, it's clear that she didn't give the age thing any thought, more so adding to the fact that maybe she didn't bring this up with Pyro because she didn't see it as a big deal. Obviously, I completely detest this behaviour, as she's allowing Pyrocynical to continue conversation with a 15-year-old that I'm knowing. But this video isn't about her, so who cares? Now, throughout the DMs I've been talking about, you might have noticed that it seems like Ivory is just speaking to a brick wall, or just has severe mental disabilities. This, however, isn't the case, since a lot of the messages Pyrocynical sent in response with Ivory have been deleted. This can be backed up by another YouTuber, Thaf9, who released DMs where Pyro had spoken about needing a script to delete Discord messages. He also claims that he needed the script to remove messages with a slimy Russian guy. However, this is a flat-out lie in an attempt to shield and savor whatever dignity he thought he had left. As from his latest response, he references the conversation between himself and Thaf9 and explains that he is terrified of people finding out what a degenerate he is, which in hindsight is completely plausible. And this can further be supported by Pyrocynical telling Ivory that he'd roleplay with loads of people, and so many that he couldn't even remember the names of, and also stating how he would delete his Discord in an attempt to remove those messages, most likely because he wouldn't want people finding out that he was a fucking furry, especially after making videos bullying them as well. Pyrocynical accusers were quick to say that it showed that there were others that were in similar situations to Ivory. If those people were of age, it's a bit of Discord degeneracy, but if people younger come forward, then a bigger case can be built around this. But so far, the only thing I've seen was a case between himself and a younger artist where he made a joke about the art not being thick enough, and the artist responded in the same manner back at the time, which is now being used as an actual serious claim. The artist himself has now come forward to say this isn't the case, and it was all in good fun, but the Google Doc has just shown how far things can be twisted. Another key part of Pyro's original response to the claims was, instead of taking full accountability, he shifted the blame onto Ivory and used baseless claims to try and prove that Ivory had lied about his age. Pyro linked a series of screenshots of where 3 people had claimed that Ivory lied about his age before. Of those 3 people, 1 is now suspended and the other 2 openly retracted their statements, which threatened the legitimacy of Pyro's previously stated claims. It was evident though that Pyro just wanted some quick evidence to support Ivory being disingenuous, as we were aware that Ivory had roleplayed with other people, but only Pyrocynical was receiving hate from him, which we can somewhat sympathise with Pyrocynical for. However, it was still disappointing to see it unfold in such a manner. Thankfully, Pyro acknowledged this fact in his latest response and followed through by taking full accountability for not checking the age of Ivory, which was the only thing I really wanted when I was writing this video, and he did it, so good. I like. Very, very good. In an attempt to wrap everything up, let's go back to the original allegations that took place, where Ivory stated that Pyrocynical had groomed him. There is no evidence to suggest that Pyrocynical used the power and influence to force Ivory into anything he wasn't comfortable with, but it'd be a fool's errand to try and make a notion that there wasn't a power imbalance between the two. However, saying that Pyrocynical took advantage of him due to his age is a pretty big stretch, considering what people were writing off as concrete proof. As shown previously, Pyro has admitted to role-playing with many people, and has expressed his attempts to delete messages and cover them up, which is disingenuous, but at the same time understandable, as I would personally take similar actions if I had cringy messages about my sexual fantasies. Lots and lots of fat Spyro. From what we can prove, Pyro sexually roleplayed with someone he knew was 16, which is the legal age in the UK. However, you have to ask yourself the question about whether this is morally sound. In my opinion, he should still be held accountable and criticised for his lack of awareness and never asking how old Ivory was, especially considering the lack of responsibility in his original response, in which he remedied in his response on YouTube. But in the context of him being a groomer and paedophile, these DMs do not at all fit that narrative, and I highly doubt there are DMs that can prove that. As someone who's watched Pyro's content develop for over 6 years now, I kind of felt trapped into making a smear video and agreeing with the gravy train of hate Pyrocynical videos. This was mainly because I didn't want to be accused of being biased or siding with a paedophile, but now I know. Pyrocynical was just a fucking degenerate, and that is the end of the video. This is the end of the video, okay? It's ending right now. It's ending like Rick and Morty, you know, when they finish off the season and they like to break fourth wall and make it funny. It's ending now. I haven't made video in ages, okay? Okay, I've not made one in a while. I might make video again, okay? If you give me money, ad revenue, I like ad revenue. I'm literally thousands of pounds in debt. I've not gone out of my room in 17 years. I'm down. Wait, hold on. Why did Turkey Tom's doc compare Pyrocynical to Red Kiwis, a 19-year-old that sent a 14-year-old a picture of his cock intentionally? What? Yeah, fucking. What is with this community, man?
Hang on, listen to the pop on this bad boy.
Pyrocynical, at age 19, was messaging a 15-year-old boy and using him as an opportunity for sexual gratification.
You could have told me!